Section 1. America's Friend, Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry was an icon. He was most famous for his role as Chandler Bing on the hit sitcom Friends. Millions adored his comedic timing and sarcastic wit. Perry's portrayal of Chandler resonated with audiences worldwide. He wasn't just a character on a screen, he felt like a friend. But behind the laughter, Perry was fighting a personal battle. He had struggled with substance abuse and addiction for years. This struggle was no secret to those who followed his career. He had been open about his battles with addiction. This openness made him a relatable figure for many who face similar struggles. Perry's openness about his struggles made him a beacon of hope. He showed that even amidst fame and fortune, addiction doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone. He sought help and went to rehab multiple times. He wanted to get better. He wanted to win this fight. Unfortunately, Perry's story took a tragic turn. He died on October 24, 2022, at the young age of 54. His death sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. It also deeply saddened his fans worldwide. His death was a stark reminder of the devastating power of addiction. Section 2. A history of struggle, addiction's grip on Perry. Matthew Perry's battle with addiction was a long and difficult one. It started in the 1990s at the height of his Friends' fame. The pressures of stardom and the demands of a hit show took a toll on him. This led him down a dangerous path. He turned to alcohol and prescription drugs to cope. Perry's addiction became increasingly difficult to manage. It led to health problems. He suffered from pancreatitis. He also experienced severe weight fluctuations. These were all physical manifestations of his internal struggle. Despite the challenges, Perry never gave up on seeking help. He went to rehab multiple times. He spoke candidly about his experiences. He hoped to help others by sharing his story. His willingness to be vulnerable resonated with many. Perry became an advocate for addiction recovery. He showed that it's possible to seek help and strive for a healthier life. He wanted others to know they were not alone. Section 3. The ketamine case, charges, and defendants. The circumstances surrounding Matthew Perry's death shocked many. The investigation revealed a disturbing truth. Perry's death was not simply a result of his long-standing addiction. It was linked to illegal activities and a breach of trust that ultimately proved fatal. 3 individuals were charged in connection with Perry's death. They were his assistant, a woman named Chelsea Brannon, and 2 doctors, Dr. David Schenker and Dr. Craig Meldrum. These 3 individuals were accused of playing a role in providing Perry with ketamine, the drug that ultimately led to his death. The charges against them were serious. Brannon faced charges of involuntary manslaughter and drug distribution. Prosecutors alleged she procured ketamine for Perry. They also claimed she knew he was struggling with addiction. Dr. Schenker and Dr. Meldrum, on the other hand, were charged with unlawful prescription of a controlled substance. The prosecution alleged these doctors prescribed ketamine to Perry without a legitimate medical purpose. They allegedly knew about Perry's history of addiction. It was a clear violation of their medical oaths and ethical responsibilities. Section 4. Uncoded tragedy, the events leading to Perry's death. The investigation into Matthew Perry's death uncovered a series of events that painted a tragic picture of his final days. It revealed a pattern of drug-seeking behavior. It also showed a network of enablers who facilitated his addiction. One of the most disturbing revelations was the use of coded language to obtain drugs. Perry, his assistant, and the doctors allegedly used code words to disguise their illegal activities. They referred to ketamine as the stuff or kittens. This deliberate attempt to conceal their actions was a clear indication of guilt. The investigation revealed that Perry's assistant, Chelsea Brannon, played a central role in procuring the drugs. Text messages showed that she contacted various individuals, including the 2 doctors, to obtain ketamine for Perry. She used code words to place orders and arrange deliveries. The doctors, Dr. Schenker and Dr. Meldrum, allegedly prescribed ketamine to Perry without a legitimate medical purpose. They did this despite knowing his history of addiction. Their actions were a clear violation of their medical oaths. They put profit ahead of their patients' well-being. Section 5. A web of betrayal, the players in Perry's downfall. The tragic death of Matthew Perry exposed a web of betrayal. His assistant and 2 doctors fueled his addiction. They exploited his vulnerability. Chelsea Brannon, his assistant, was central to this. Perry trusted her deeply, but she abused this trust. Brannon facilitated his addiction. Doctors Schenker and Meldrum also played a role. They exploited Perry for profit. Their actions had devastating consequences.